Hello. Hello, everyone. Wow.
Got a notification saying that Blue's streaming.
Really? Maybe you should go watch. Hi, everybody. Hi. You may not know who this is because he's not been here for fucking ever.
I've been here the whole time.
Wow. Why is shield mode still on? It should have turned itself off by now.
You must never deactivate the shield. How else will you protect yourself from the vagaries of the internet? Wouldn't be a Blue stream if there weren't technical difficulties.
Yeah, I just don't know why it's on. Or why that's not there either. It's supposed to turn itself off.
We're now unshielded, oh no!
Yeah, it's weird. It's supposed to auto-remove that after a couple of minutes.
Then Blue activated sword mode and everyone got scared.
There we go. Hello! Hi, Wagon!
Is it all the usual suspects?
I think it is. Hi, Cole. Hi, Growlithe. Words! Yes, we have the power of language now. Oh dear. Put it back. Bark, 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 bark. The dogs are very unhappy. Spook, what the hell's happening? We haven't been here in forever.
Got a new job.
There you go. Can't be trusted this. We know. We know. Spook has a new job, but we should probably wait for more people to be here before we talk about that.
Yes. It's this special little app called OnlyFans. I'm making considerably less money.
Really?
You don't remember what we were doing in this game, do you?
No, I don't. I asked you. I said, Spook.
Oh, is that what you were
I said,
asking
Spook, what are we doing in this game?
Oh, in the game.
I said, what are we doing in this game? It's been ages. What's happening?
Well, it would help if you loaded it up so we can have a look at our court record and stuff, so we can see what evidence we have procured. Oh, final day.
Final day! Assuming that we don't have a thing that, like...
Psych, the game starts now!
Including, you know, we had that happen in the last one where it's like, it's the final day, and then we unearthed something and they were like, we're going to extend it.
You're going to die.
You're going to die. Right. Well, it's gonna just, because it's the start of the final day, it's gonna launch us into some dialogue right away.
It's going to tell us everything that happened.
Probably, yes.
Fine. Ashtray. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. So where is Lara? I've been trying to reach Lana.
Lana, not Lara.
Lara Croft.
No. Lana Sky. No relation.
Lara Sky. Lana Croft. Why the hell is that?
Why is that popping? Why is everything, like, 5 minutes behind?
Maybe you're 5
That's
minutes
supposed to pop up when you open the game.
I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Probably being detained.
Mm-hmm.
And where's Emma? Oh yeah, for that matter. It almost seems as if...
I do remember that because I think there's a clip of it where Phoenix said that Emma had told me that she had to be held back for questioning, and my immediate response was, did she tell you this in person?
Yeah. Emma got taken.
Did she tell you this in person? No. Oh no! God damn it.
I love how you read that and you were like, the fuck is Cord posted? That makes no sense.
It took a sec to process. It took a sec to process. I had to I looked at the sentence and then I had to reread it properly in order for it to register.
You dumb bitch. Oh, someone said something's been happening behind the scenes. I can't remember who this is. Oh.
Ah!
Edgeworth! It was you!
Knowing you've already figured it out. I love how many people have said that. Lana keeps saying, like, you've got it all figured out, haven't you? And it's like, Phoenix doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on.
Do you know what's happened?
I mean, I have a theory what's happened.
Okay!
I think we all have a theory on what's happened because we're very suspicious people, especially in this game. When after a couple of dialogues with one person, you go, you're suspicious.
What is your theory then, Blue?
Oh My theory is that Gant's done something. I know, right?
What could he have done?
Why? That's the thing. I don't have a why, which is the main issue a lot of the time. I think with some of these cases is the why. But yeah, I mean, I have my theory. I even have theories as to how. Of like, you know, there's the boss and the spear in the office and the urn and things like that, and all these different things. He is suspicious.
Is that painting of Gord Lake?
It might be.
Actually.
It might be.
Unless those are houses, those shadows.
I know. I feel like this could be a path, and that's like a fence, and maybe that's the sun reflected off the water. What it looks like is a photo that's had that paint filter put over it in Photoshop. A very specific filter.
Other photo editing softwares are available.
And you should definitely use them. Who the owner of the 77's ID number is now.
Well, I have a pretty strong hunch.
I think we all do. Yeah.
Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out.
Dun, dun, dun. No, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything.
True. Not yet.
In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty.
But she didn't do it!
Figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. Oh yeah, I actually for a brief moment forgot that he's technically meant to be against us in this trial.
I mean, he's meant to be.
He's meant to be, but
trial.
but he's not acting like it in this one.
Hello, Rosa.
Hi, Rosa. Catch the pigeon, catch the pigeon.
This is the first time he's ever done something.
That's what I mean. It's like he turned on basically onto our side in that one trial because it was obvious to sort of everyone who the actual murderer was, and then obviously in the trial where he was on trial, we were the ones defending him. But this is the first time where it's like, well, you're definitely the prosecutor against us, but he's actually coming to us and be like, look. Yes, Scarlet.
Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is if we beat it out of her. Is to draw it out of her.
She's being threatened / blackmailed. And that is why she does not want to talk about it. The truth.
Everything goes back to the DL6 incident. The SL9 incident. The 69 incident.
No. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. Don't have time to reminisce about the past.
That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened.
I'll think about it. See you in court, right? I caught a pigeon.
This is it. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Dun 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 dun.
Like she's covering. I speculated at the start that she was covering up for someone, and now I believe it to be Gant, but I don't have the why.
Do you remember some of the evidence that we had that was quite perturbing?
Yeah, it's something. Again, it is something to do with SL9, and I don't know if it's because he's responsible for Marshall's brother dying, and because Lana was actually there. Lana's the one being blackmailed, and she's being blackmailed with the threat of Emma, because Emma's her sister.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
For the last time. Court is now in trial for session for the trial of session trial of session trial.
I think the judge is having a stroke.
I missed the big-titted lady that brought me meals. Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make.
Already? It's not even waiting to get in there.
I'm gonna let you finish. Chief Gant! Dun 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 dun, and then he materialised out of thin air.
That's worrying. He always waits before saying anything, and it always unsettles me.
It's to make sure that you're paying attention. It's like a teacher. Stands at the front
When
of
the
the class
teacher's just standing
and
there,
just
is
waits.
completely silent, and there's a minute where you go, "Oh no, we've done something."
Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, RG, been back to the pool yet? He likes.
He's like swimming, yes.
Likes.
He's always liked swimming.
No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. That's quite clever.
That was actually quite clever for the judge.
That's a good one. Don't think I can top that.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Stop.
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble.
Oh no. Oh no. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial.
Huh?
I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
No, Lana!
Is something in her hand?
No,
I know,
it's
it's the bandage.
She's got a cut hand. You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But, Lana, that's...
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. Prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven in its case enough testimony and circumstantial evidence. I'd like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. A request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial. Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. Here's the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
There it is. One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth!
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature.
Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, No. Play by my rules in this courthouse.
He's got a bit of a vendetta because of all the trouble that people have caused him.
Yeah.
So his name is a little bit in the mud at the moment, so he is kind of desperate to prove himself again. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gantz.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be.
Felix just sat there like, I'm gonna let this play out. I'll just let this play out.
Huh? With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal has been struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Ooh.
Oh?
Oh? To whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Ms. Emma Skye.
Ah.
I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye.
Play by my rules now. I'm the prosecution.
Chat on community game night. Huh? The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant?
Why are you asking him? You're the judge.
Where is the... You'll live to regret this. Mark my words.
That's a fucking open threat. That is an open threat in a room of witnesses. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Ooh. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins.
Well,
There she is.
she's not looking happy.
Uh-uh.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then.
Just stares him down.
He sure gave in fast.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Edgeworth has given me an opening, and I have to make it count. By interrogating my teeny tiny alter ego. Right.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant.
Ah.
The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
Oh.
Contradiction.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
I'll get to it. That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
You gotta admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I'm assuming we are retaking position as the defense then.
I guess,
despite the fact that she's claimed she wants self-representation. Balls in your face.
Rodent.
Right, so do you want to press everything, or do you just want to go straight to the presenting?
I mean, we are in the habit of pressing for more information just in case, but we do know what the contradiction already is in the last statement. That's Goodman's autopsy. Where's the report? It's from...
Back,
yeah,
right, from a punctured heart and lung.
Stabbed in the back. It was in. And we know that that's the contradiction there. Drink some water. Sippy, sippy. Vent.
Oh.
Wait, what?
What? Oh, maybe this is one of those you've got to press everything even though...
What do you mean I don't see anything contradictory?
Clearly this is the
Cool.
game's way of saying, we don't want you to solve the game this way, so...
That's so bullshit. I hate it when the game does that. We lost a life for that. You were fully reading that, weren't you?
I was reading that and I was like,
Huh?
pretty sure it wasn't blue, but whatever. Anyway, okay, well, let's
Let's go back and press everything.
I guess we're doing the press game. I guess that
Too
is something
keen.
that does get a little bit stale towards the end of the game, of like, because it's still a courtroom drama, they're trying to tell a story.
Yeah, you've got to.
Can't treat it like a puzzle game.
You have
all
to
the
let
time.
it play out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even like my gut response was it already was like, well, we normally press everything, but I was so confident, like, well, we clearly have the answer, but you have to remember that this game doesn't necessarily want you to just be like, yes, I have the answer.
Yeah.
So always press everything.
Alright,
Lost-
we're pressing Q.
Okay, we lost a life there anyway.
2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yes, she was second in command under the then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister. She was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember.
Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Sky used to be quite the pair.
I believe they share the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk. Dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
Anna says they wanted that to be McDonald's or something. Really take me for a happy meal. Yeah.
A man? What man?
Yeah, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, correct?
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened the door to have a look. And that's when I saw him. Young Marshal Rescue.
What was the prosecutor doing there?
That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Just forgot about Gant.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight into the questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
So they were in that room right before it happened. What I got from that. So he went to question straight after the ceremony, and that photo was him holding the award. So they had the award ceremony in the office, and then went straight downstairs to go question him.
Yes, sir. Makes sense.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but
Come on, it was only 2 years ago.
it's more the stress. People's minds block things out when they get stressed.
Think, girl.
I don't forget what I saw in that instant.
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out.
Wait a minute.
It was pitch dark in that room. You shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yeah, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, rest in peace. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Hi, Hope.
Hey, Hope.
Yeah, that's what's so scary about this trial. You told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yeah, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
Picture, yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Yes, we've seen that. We've seen the picture.
Yeah.
And it's really creepy that Gant had it.
Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough?
This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning.
The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. That's because someone was withholding it.
Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yeah, Your Honor. It wants us to know more about the picture.
Ah, there we go.
So that's why. That's why it wouldn't let us do it before, because they were like, we need to make the picture relevant.
No, it's not.
Is it not that?
It's a piece of something.
And we found out with the picture? Was it this one?
Check it.
Yeah, there's this one.
That one.
It's a good picture, considering how young she was.
13?
Yeah.
And not an artist?
It's even got rim lighting. Like, what the hell?
Coloured it in with a chocolate bar.
Seems to have been lost. Nope, it's right here.
You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, correct?
Yes. I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. But I did draw it, I swear! I'm not just imagining it.
This picture that Emma drew, that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence.
Check the evidence again. Anyway, let's continue. That scene has imprinted an image into your mind. Can you please describe it to us? Man. Raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Technically, we haven't pressed this bit.
It must have been a real shock.
Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. And tell us, what were you doing at that moment? Crying. I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage? When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them.
He doesn't have any reason to lie. But Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can.
Start. So, now we present the picture. I drew the picture.
Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Why exactly are you having a bash at Edgeworth?
Hey, I'm not the bad guy. He's not denying its existence, he's just saying, I was never given it.
Yeah.
And we know why, because a certain someone was withholding it and hanging on to it for 2 years.
There you go.
All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
Well, you've missed Damon a little bit, Dash. You might want to rewind.
He's openly threatened Edgeworth. I
Yeah.
need to reiterate, he openly threatened Edgeworth in court, and nobody batted an eye.
And he also says, my dear boy.
Yes, as well. He literally says, you're going to live to regret this, and then walked away. And I went, what the fuck?
That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold!
Clearly believes he is untouchable. Oh, absolutely. That's evident.
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Flashback to that moment in the game shop when I had to open someone's game to be like, the thing you bought is inside. Okay?
Turn it over. Turn it... Ah! What's this?
God.
Edgeworth probably can't see it.
Why is everybody a moron? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew!
There you
Indeed.
go. Two men appear to be wrestling here.
I can literally just imagine the judge being like, what is this? And then someone comes up and it's just...
Oh, yes. I thought it looked like a subway.
He always wants his subway. What is the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list?
Me?
Don't ask where I got it. I was somewhere I shouldn't have been. Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
Huh. These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other.
That's an odd bit of insight from the judge.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you.
What? What?
Order! Order! But, Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? I was 13 and was handed a piece of paper in a police department.
By a suspicious man who seemed so nice at the time, but now I'm not so sure. Yeah, it's an entire second page. Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Oh, Goodman gave it to her. Well, that is interesting.
He was in charge.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor! Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. I have turned into a frog as a clever disguise. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Oh, shit. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
Are you telling me
In 2 years.
2 years that no time did you turn the piece of paper over to look at the other side? It was the first thing I did when we found this piece of paper. It was like, here's a piece of paper, and I went, oh, cool, what's on the other side? Oh, cool, what's this? Please tell me.
Also, every time he holds it up, someone would have seen the back of it.
I know, right? This... Everyone in this game is so stupid.
Yep. Is something wrong?
Edgeworth is like, just read right there, I have to throw myself into the ocean.
You didn't have to ask.
I have to throw myself into the lake again.
Rage.
He's just hitting his desk. He's just like, no! Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. That's that thing.
Oh?
Oh my god, y'all, is that the beautiful and stunning blue sky wolf? And what's that smell? Ah, it's spook. Of course.
I should fight the microphone for that.
No!
Should proper, like, get a little... The one that sounds like leather tearing, you know.
No!
Den's banned.
No! No, my darling dear Den. Thank you. Thank you for the bits.
It's the blue badger.
I know it's the blue badger, that's why I'm in pain right now!
I love the blue badger.
I'm suffering.
The blue badger. That's the thing. Thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly this act of vandalism is the work of certain chief of detectives.
I guess he was out of scrap paper. Hmm.
So there's the two pieces put together.
Ah.
So now we can have a look at it in its entirety.
Spook smells like badger bum crust and old cheese. But we love him anyway, I guess.
Is she allowed to say that on your stream? On your delicate Christian server?
Den!
Badger bum crust!
I knew that bit would upset him. Spook doesn't like badgers.
Or bomb crust! I'm opposed to both.
Oh my god.
Very well. Witness. Stop laughing. Laugh at the game! Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? No.
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What the hell's wrong with Emma? Pull it together, girl. She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture.
Well, some memories are being jogged. Something that she'd repressed. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instance.
Okay. That was the same shit twice.
Uh-huh.
I think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here.
Repressed, like how you try to repress the blue badger theme. Thanks, Hope.
Not thanked, Hope. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Q for the win!
press everything first, is what we've learned, even if we think we know what to do.
Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. That's understandable. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky.
2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in the mind.
Excuse me, witness. Can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. She was answering her question, but it was also part of the testimony.
Fucked up! So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. Lightning was so bright. I was knocked to the floor. Which makes me question, are we certain who the other man is?
You were knocked to the floor?
This wouldn't be the first time we've had a case of a picture where we're like, who's the other person? Who's the person who's holding the gun?
Who done it?
Who's holding the gun, Edgeworth? Who's holding the knife?
Who done it?
You saw dark before the lights went off. But it was dark then, so who's to say what happened?
Yes, it was dark.
Dark had a tight grip on me, but then Mr. Marshall jumped on him. I was knocked away. I turned around and that's when the lightning flashed. Okay, so well, from that description, it sounds pretty immediate.
Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt.
Oh, catch that Pokemon.
It's a swabble.
Well, what happened after the lightning flashed?
I was electrocuted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry. Flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Really need to torture this girl any further.
You're the one who called her here.
What?
Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture. Picture says exactly what I saw in that instance.
I have very few Pokemon Hope. The game does not give it to me. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course, this is the exact scene.
Wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives?
Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright?
Won't be the first. I mean, no. Of course not.
Dreams count as evidence, right? Edgeworth.
I had a dream.
Clearly, I'm guilty.
You better watch out, or you may find somewhere to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright. Is there something that's bothering you about this picture?
Huh? That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here.
I think I've worked it out, as you can tell from my mouse slowly drifting up. I believe in... Well, this is, again, who can tell with this game? In the autopsy report, a knife tip was in the wound, and this is... no, this is the... Where is it? It's this one. The knife was broken, apparently inside him, when he was stabbed. And that is very notably a square thing. So that would imply that this knife was already broken. Because we can't see faces and things like that. And we already did they you said he got stabbed in the front,
Yeah,
but
that was-
but the autopsy says that he was stabbed in the back, but the game was like, no, that's not correct. So I'm wondering if it's this, because every single statement here has basically been, are you sure this is correct? And her answer has been, yes, it's correct. And then you move on to the next statement, it's like, but are you sure? And she's like, yes, I'm sure. So I'm wondering if it's this, of this knife, quote unquote, doesn't really look like a knife. And is that because it was already broken? Because he's already been stabbed? Gun was fired. Man was stabbed. When do I present it? So we've already pressed all of this. Flash of lightning. After that I must have fainted. This picture says exactly what I saw in that instance. So, I'm not sure which statement I'm supposed to press on. So we've pressed on all of these. Treasury. And this one actually brings.
So it brings it to your. So this is where you. This is the.
So is
problem.
this one we're supposed to like?
Can you check the actual evidence
Yeah,
list?
can
Does
we
it show the whole thing?
So yeah, half the list was found in Afghanistan. That's the two things. That's the two pieces of paper together. Weird.
Hmm.
That's weird. That's weird that it's drawn that way.
Hmm. I wonder if we'll get this one. I don't know if that's relevant just yet, because that's not the bit they're focusing on.
Yeah, it will be. It will be relevant. I'm sure the photo will be relevant. Is it the fact that this is the entirety of what she drew and it was in the top half because it was ripped? Is it a police badge? No, the police badges don't look like that. That is the blue badger, but why is it there? Why don't we ask the beholder? Oh my god. What's weird? The thing that sort of like confused me is the fact that it is like the paper was rotated, so it almost feels like these two things were, even though they're on the same page, it feels like they were drawn separately from one another. Maybe that is what we're supposed to present. The picture shows exactly what I saw in that instance, and then we're meant to question, well, what's this other thing then?
Maybe.
Maybe? No.
So it's not that one.
Not that
Okay,
one.
probably
Okay.
the knife theory then.
Is it another one of those things where it's like the knife and the documents are both the same answer? So, is it the knife? No. I'm gonna run out of lives.
Oh boy, we're missing what this is then.
Report? Do they want the report now? 'Cause we already did the report earlier, and the game was like, no. So, is it the report to say stabbed in the back? Yeah, it was that one.
Okay.
So now it was correct. Not the statement when she said, I saw him get stabbed in the chest. No, that wasn't a contradiction, but that was.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report?
Let me tell you, I'm pretty sure that this case is going to be the case that we run out of lives on.
Might be.
If we have 2 lives left, and just gonna say it, Gant isn't even on the podium yet. We haven't even started questioning him, so I feel like we're gonna run out of lives on this one. God, which part do I point out? This part? The fact that it's his front? This is the first time where I'm like, I'm not confident in which bit I'm supposed to point out.
The knife is the only, it's like the highlighted obvious bit. We do fail. We can just, read. Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding.
It is the knife.
Yeah, well done, Blue.
If he was stabbed in his back, why is he stabbing from the front? That's what we've been asking for like the last half hour, but the game's been telling us, no, you're not allowed yet.
If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken.
Even I don't have to look closer to see that, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? The tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What is the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand? Then how could the tip have been there?
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible either. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. Well, what does this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time. But she was sure she remembered correctly.
But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation.
Gun was fired twice.
Have you already forgotten? About a little something called falsified evidence.
You're treading on thin ice, right? And it is beginning to break.
And I shall be under it when it breaks. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility.
No. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Order! Order! I said order! Oh, gavel you, goddammit. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of that murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark alongside Damon Gantz. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie.
I'm not lying. Man was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one?
I mentioned this before. There's a spear here.
Not broken.
It's not well, it's not broken in the photo. This was taken before the murder took place, remember?
But she said that she saw a broken knife being used. That's the question that we've got. The knife was broken afterwards, it's fine.
Oh, it is still this. It's that. Because it's not on the award anymore. Which we noticed all the way back
In Act 1,
in
Scene
Act
2.
1. I was like, this is weird that it's got a broken shield. And then we saw the photo later on in a flashback or something, and I was like, wait, it's got a thing on it.
There you go.
So it is. So
That was a red herring for you, Blue. Red herring.
Yeah, I think.
And it even has red herring on it.
I think did I say, like, it's been 2 weeks, so I don't remember, but I feel like I actually said last time, because once we were in the office, I sprayed it with the stuff and nothing came up, so I was like, But because of the placement in this photo, it's very obviously there to sort of lead you incorrectly, when the evidence is actually in the same photo, which is this one.
Like playing Mysterium, and then Curl's getting angry because she's like, I put that there because it was pointing at the real one, and you chose to take the point and not what it was pointing at. You stupid cat.
I even said, I was like, look, they've put the white spear in front of the person wearing the dark brown cloak, and they've even, like, highlighted it to make sure that you see it. It's very intentional. Game
And then
design.
clothed it in red to say, haha!
It's red.
Fooled you. Next.
So Emma is mistaken.
No.
Oh.
Why did... Look. This might game us over now because you misclicked, because you weren't thinking.
I misclicked.
You were like,
Well,
yeah, I was
if we
mistaken.
game over, then we might get fresh lives. Oh, it's a gameplay.
okay.
It's a gameplay loop.
Oh, there we go, right.
It's a gameplay loop.
In that instance, Emma really did see a broken knife. I suddenly believe you.
In this instance, you can't get the answer wrong.
I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Every time I do, I giggle a lot.
Here's the real murder weapon. Do you think we're supposed to present this? Because, again, because the photo that has the spear in it is potentially a red herring. So do you think we were actually
Oh,
supposed
it says 2 years ago the halberd was removed against Pest, giving it its current form. So I guess
So yeah, is this the thing that we're supposed to present, do you think? What do you think, chat? Do you think there's a shaman? Hold the fuck up, this is important. Shaman. There we go.
Risk it for a biscuit.
I think during the event we've had 3 shamans spawn in the channel and none of them have been caught. The halberd was suspiciously removed. Yeah, exactly. Literally 2 years ago by Gant. Isn't this a very suspicious picture that's being painted? Much like this suspicious picture, which literally has the red herring on it. Of like, it's designed to make you want to pick this picture at this point.
Maybe it is the picture, because maybe they'll say, can you show us on this picture where the thing is? And it's like,
and you click on the spear and then you click on the wrong thing. I don't know. This is the thing which will cause us to lose a life if we click the wrong one. Jeez, okay.
Quite the tragic backstory you've got going on there.
I don't know if that's a fun fact.
Fun fact. Death happens.
What do you think, chat? Do you think we present the picture or the trophy? What do you think? I'm gonna put it to you. Oh no, here we go.
My dear, I bribed the court so you could run this back. Please, dispose of this matter. Don't be mistaken twice. I will be disappointed.
No! What do we think?
I'm going to say the picture,
Spook thinks the picture.
because the picture actually has the thing in it.
That's the third time that shaman's got away. Spook thinks the picture.
I think it's going to be the picture. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this photograph.
This is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah!
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I got a paper cut.
It's the broken murder weapon.
Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding.
Oh, the game is actually going to tell us.
No, fair enough.
Well, that's no fun. We worked it out. That's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife.
Which means that Joe Dark might not be the person holding it. Edgeworth is so mad. Oh, he always is.
That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Lots of order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife, which means he had the hubris to take it with him when he chased after Dark. Or it was left in the room.
It might have been left in the office, because the photo was taken in the office.
When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol.
Ironic.
This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
But that can't be.
Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, the murderer and the victim would be reversed.
What do you mean?
I mean, this man raising a knife would have been the prosecutor, Neil Marshall.
Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What the hell's going on?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Uh-oh.
Wait! I remember now! I remember everything!
Witness!
Mr. Edgeworth! What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What?
You drew that one too?
That's right. This wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. But why? All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
In your butt. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. I said what? Could you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye?
What? What's the problem? Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Have you seen Blue's badger?
It's in the plushies. Go on, badger plushie.
Badger.
Badger plushie. Shall I put a badger plushie on the throne? Because they actually don't have a badger plushie. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. And just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
Yeah, now this one might get Blue stumped.
That's confusing.
Yeah. This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. Chief of Detectives hadn't even designed him until this year.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Stop! Please, don't pursue this any further.
Uh-oh, we hit a nerve.
Uh-oh.
Anna! What is the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this! I already confessed to the crime! Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Scott. Already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Ooh. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination without further interruptions. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
Ooh.
Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter.
She panic, because we're getting close.
Dun 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 dun!
Dun.
Dun 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 da 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 da. Alright.
Okay, press everything.
Press everything. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark.
Yes, at least I think it was him.
You think? Or you know?
All I could really see was shadows. Power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports.
So then you did a little dance.
Panicked.
Why would you do something so reckless?
What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall.
She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife.
But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was I gotta help the other person.
What do you mean you think?
It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. The Sky was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. So much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next?
Are you sure about this?
What was that for? Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is quite verifiable.
That to me says that someone saw that the other side of that list and they saw the picture and they were like, that's a cool design.
Well, it was Gant that designed the Blue Badger,
No,
wasn't
Chief
it?
of Detectives,
The
which
detectives
is the
bit.
Chief of Detectives is the guy who sits at the end of
Right.
the room.
Okay. No, it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember.
Oh, yay. I mean, oh, bother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion.
Ugh.
Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing?
She broke the award and stabbed him in the process. No! I wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and chalky handpan paint on it?
That's right, but I still remember it. It had 3 creepy horns. Never mind, just thinking.
Oh, I hope thinks he's got it.
Three horns. Spring smiling at me.
I'm impressed. Well done, Blow. That one is a hidden clue. That is the final piece to this puzzle.
Interesting. That, yeah, that's quite cleverly hidden.
Nice! Wows in chat!
Yay!
Wows in chat!
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. Witness must be mistaken.
That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh? I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please show us what this shadow really was.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger really?
I just might know.
The Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, it is the defence's belief that on the fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright?
In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike. It was my butt.
It was this.
Dish. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this! But that's a jar of dirt. What exactly is this? I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoints? Our viewpoint? Oh dear. I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from.
Oh, now we've got to, like, align it up, have we?
So it's not the way you had it.
Not quite. It's like...
It's more, a bit more, a bit more.
that.
Like that. Maybe a bit lower down. I think. Oh, I think you can just tip it so that the vase is pointing directly up, I think.
Not like
Not
that.
quite like that, but something like that, I think.
I mean, there is the option to present, so I think I have to get it somewhat at the right angle and then press the
Yeah,
present
I
button.
think that's about right.
It looks a little bit high.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Close. Allow me to remind the defence that its case hinges on the witness's drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept his claim.
I'm
Go find
glad
that.
that they didn't put a penalty thing on this one. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's probably very...
Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more horizontally.
Maybe you have just got to have it like pointing straight up, then just flip it upside down. Because they're going for a simple angle, so maybe you just do that.
That doesn't really look like it at all.
It doesn't look exactly like it, but you got to remember this was seen in like the flash of an instant, so just try that. Failing that, then we'll go for the front view of like with the three
Yeah.
horns.
So is it meant to be like that? I'm just trying to look at like how they're curving.
Oh, maybe look like down the barrel then. Look
Yeah,
down the
because
barrel.
the
Like
front
that.
the front
Bit
is
more,
quite
bit more,
straight.
bit more, bit more. Yeah, just
Like
go with
that?
that. Yeah. So we're looking straight down it.
Oh, no, I think it's going to be straight down like this, and then rotated so that the broken one is at the top. Do you think?
Maybe, yeah. Go with that.
So, I hope they're not too exact with this because obviously you've got no guidelines. No, oh god.
Maybe it's looking through the other end of the vase,
Maybe.
so you can see the horns a bit better. Maybe.
I do kind of wish it was one of those things where they made like a little silhouette appear when you were like getting close to it, so that you could sort of get it to snap in
More
place.
vibrations. No, look through the other end of it.
This way.
Yeah, look through
Like
that
that.
end.
Oh god.
But you might have to rotate it around again,
Maybe.
so that the horns are at the top.
Ah. Yeah, at least you don't get penalised. Yeah, it's almost like they knew that this was a finicky pain in the arse. We've got to use the touch controls because we're porting to the DS. The broken one on the left, you think? Oh, because it's got the tape on it.
That's quite clever.
That's actually well done, boss. That's
no,
incredible.
you want it to be looking.
Ah, it's controls.
It's not the controls. It's just you're ham fisting the keyboard and blaming the game like you always do. Of like, oh, it did it wrong. No, you pressed the button. Take some responsibility.
Q and R is rotate. So we want to look at it from
The
like
other end,
top down,
top down. I'd
but
say.
we think that the broken one should be the one on this side. Because that's where that's broke.
I guess so. Maybe a bit more.
Like that.
Maybe.
Like that. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, God.
We know the answer. It's just trying.
Yeah,
to
we
get
know
the
the
game.
answer. Again, I feel like a good way to have like designed it would be to have a little silhouette appear when you're like getting close, so you can sort of align it up Meant to be like that. Right. Spook's googling to find a picture. It's like at first I wondered if it was this was the top one because the
Oh,
top
there
one
you
is
go.
straight.
So I was.
Oh, I
Kind
think yeah, we were close.
I was kind of right.
So it's like
round from the front.
That.
So yeah, basically like that.
like that basically. Like that.
Use Q and R to. Yeah, that's
Like
it.
that. That looks about right. I'm trying to use the grid, basically. I'm trying to use the lines on the grid to try and help me align it a bit. I need to tip it upwards a bit more.
That'll do.
There.
That'll do. That's
I'm trying.
gotta be-
Yeah. I'm trying to think. That's in the center of those squares because that's probably how the game is. That's probably how the game is judging it. So that is
There
in
you
that
go.
square. That's in that square, and that's in the center of there. That does. I mean, that does look pretty spot on, actually.
There we go.
There we go. I got there in the end.
Well, is this a miracle or what?
No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger's stupid head.
I mean, I'm sure several people will. Because stop. No.
No, Hope, you must remix this.
No, it can't be.
Order! Order again! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything.
Indeed. Very well then, please tell us.
Oh yeah, because remember, that jar's only finished now because we found one last piece.
That you assembled it.
What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar?
Is it the murder weapon? Because the jar's got blood on it.
Let's have another look at the jar.
Because the autopsy definitely says that they died from being stabbed, not from, like, blunt force.
Check it out.
Tonight, final fragment was found in Gant's safe. It has blood traces on it. And it almost looks like someone was trying to write something, that line of...
Right, it's what?
It's another one of those things of, like, are we looking at it the right way? No, that's just...
Yeah, you are. Kind of.
You are, kind of. Yeah, I can't rotate it in this view anymore, annoyingly. Because it was Q and R before to rotate it to the side, and now I can't do it anymore.
Oh, we can actually.
I
We can actually.
need to turn it that way. It looks like...
What's the current question? Is what does this change about the incident? Does it change the location? Does it change the murder weapon? Or does it change the murderer?
Your Honor, am I guilty? You are kinda.
Only the fragment found in Chief's Gant still has lines remaining.
Yeah, so this was the bit that Gant had.
Mm-hmm.
That has this very obvious line. Like, the original one still had these splatters on it, but this has a very clear line on it. That's all we get from that. Should it be location? Well, the location was in the office, and this jar was in the office, so I don't think it changes the location. I feel like we can rule out location.
We know what we've established as the murder.
So I guess
weapon,
I
it's-
guess by elimination it has to be the murderer, because we've established that the autopsy report says he died from being stabbed, not from blunt force, so he wasn't hit with this. So I don't know how it. I don't actually know how it indicates that the murderer was someone different, but by process of elimination, it has to be that. It's not the location and it's not the weapon. So I guess it's the murderer.
Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar.
At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We know it was in the office.
It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
Body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself.
Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office.
Implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office.
Yes.
It's very confusing to me that they are referring to those two places as two separate places.
Yeah.
Because my brain is like, they're in the same room. It's the same room.
It's about 30 feet apart.
They share an office. That's why I was like, well, it's not in a different place because it was in the office. And the fact that they're referring to them as two different places is what confused me. Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly.
Hmm.
If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I think I remember now the final part of this, and it's kind of sad. I think I finally figured it out.
Yeah, you make a good point, Hope.
So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more.
Ooh.
If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit?
Ah!
A suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword.
In the back.
Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, it would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy.
Oh, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
Yes.
Ooh.
There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility?
Yeah, and it's grim.
Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Phoenix. Well, I think I've come to the same conclusion, and it's not a nice one.
Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
But it does explain everything. Events took place as the defense theorizes, and the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually the prosecutor Neil Marshall, Jesus. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Oh God! Jesus. Oh, Oh no. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. Oh.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life. Then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances...
Joe Duck murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall?
Evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes. It certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have any evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
You certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning.
Touche, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. Better or worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Yes, it does.
Better think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind.
Is in the evidence.
This message from the deceased is already in our possession.
Mr. Wright! Will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. What? Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek.
The truth.
The truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright. Please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased.
Yes, it's this. It looks like he tried to write something on it because it's got his blood on it.
This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, correct? No.
Oh, is he just going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's already forgotten that this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood in this jar.
Looks like someone wiped the blood away.
Doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments were not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here drawn in blood. Oh no!
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines? Oh my god.
Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points. And the victim's message will become apparent.
No!
Something doesn't make sense to me, though, because that means that the jar was smashed after that happened. Because you wouldn't be able to write it on fragments without it,
Yeah.
with it overlapping onto other pieces, because you
Well,
would just
it
use
might
some
have
pieces.
intentionally been smashed.
Yeah. Mr. Wright! Do it, you bitch, do it. What kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor? I believe these bloodstains reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. Only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances. His murderer's name. This
Yeah,
is
you
where
can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it. Oop. Touch controls. I've got to like tap, drag, and then tap again. This is a little bit clunky on PC. Anyone here as well? No, it doesn't. Dear. Vars, what did you do?
Dun 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 dun.
Vars, what did you do? EA Sports. I
in
knew
the-
it. It was EA.
It's in the name.
Well,
It's defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why I've always been thinking is what? That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this.
yeah. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind.
Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you.
Chief Gant.
You understand the implications of what you've done.
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice.
What?
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 We're merely keepers of the law.
That's not the same thing.
Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. Oh.
That's rioting. Could have sent an innocent man to his death. How did he just stand there like it wasn't his fault?
Order! Order! Nope, denied. Right. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows.
To be continued! He is very slimy. He is very slimy. Ah!
We're not at the end just yet.
Nope. It's all one massive cover-up. Obviously, Gant knows, so it was just like, well, Lana will do anything he says. Basically, what it boils down to. You know, and who can blame her? Who can blame her?
What we doing then, Blue?
That's up to you. It is 8:30. Well, past 8:30.
I'm good to keep going for a bit.
You want to keep going? I said, how much longer do you want to keep going? That's up to you.
I'll stay up until 10, so
Yeah,
probably stop just before 10.
Well, we've got a few more people here now, so if you want to actually address that, because we haven't up until this point.
Oh yeah, I got a new job.
Spook has a new job.
So
Ta-da!
I don't have to be up as early in the morning, but it does mean that I get home later. So there won't be an afternoon stream, but there will
Yes.
be an evening stream.
There is no longer going to be an afternoon stream on Tuesdays. I will be updating the schedule appropriately. As you can notice from the last couple of weeks, this stream slot was a bit tenuous, and that was because Spook was on his sort of like training period, and his training hours were a little bit different from his final hours, but now he's actually on what his hours are going to be. So it means that there's no longer going to be an afternoon stream, but it means that the evening one will be longer. I mean, it's because normally we would probably finish right now, but as I said, Spook is happy to go for another hour.
Yeah, I can go for a bit longer.
So yeah. So you probably still get the same amount of stream. Wah!
Congrats on the new job scaring stray cats away with the badger bum smell, Spook. Love you lots.
What the hell do you think I do as a job?
Herd cats, apparently.
With my bum. I back up into them, beeping.
Yeah.
Warning, smell reversing. Warning, smell reversing.
Oh yeah. So there you go. Even though it's been literally like 2 weeks, that's the official announcement, because for some reason Spook didn't want to tell people right away.
Well, Dasa just got his new job, so I was like, yeah. His was more important.
Aww.
Mine was a change for convenience.
Aww. Bless.
It means you smell it through your bum.
We're not addressing this line of questioning anymore.
Bum smell!
No! Job ending is miserable and stressful, not an easy conversation. New. But there you go. So, hence some changes and a little bit of why things were quite up in the air over the last month as well. But there you go. So we will be streaming in the evening on Tuesday, not in the afternoon.
Back to the action! It's now midday. Ta very much. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hey!
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. No, I guess I am. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later.
No, wait, friend, no!
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
Oh, he's like a puppy.
You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around while on duty. And to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
I take it Lana's having you run errands again.
Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here. She asked me to give you this.
What is this?
She asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial.
What is this cover? Evidence law for babies.
Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day.
Must have known the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1: no evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. What?
Hey guys, Gumshoe here. Super happy you got a new job. But now read this book.
Hey, nice.
Look at this bookograph. Every time I... Books are boring.
The fact this is only being covered at the end of the game is bonkers. Yeah.
How to lawyer.
Right. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so.
You could at least study up on some evidence law, really.
You don't need that to be a lawyer.
Apparently not.
The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message.
I'm gonna fucking stab you.
A message?
Yeah, he's suing you for copyright infringement on the Blue Badger. She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him.
Capital H, him.
I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. That's a big book for 2 rules of law.
It is, isn't it?
Doesn't look like that book will do you any good, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence.
Thank you for gifting a sub, Hope. How the hell does that book fit in your pockets? Have you seen the size of this man? Pockets for days.
That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh?
Haven't you figured it out yet?
Cheese.
I thought you got shot.
Yeah, it was cheese at the same time as subs.
The cheese
Sub
was
cheese.
fired twice.
Cheese subs. Like a sandwich. Cheese sub. Why I'm still sitting in the prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me.
Because you're a fucking twink. Mr. Edgeworth?
You see, Bill, what you do is you hit them in the head with this book when they pull out some fucking nonsense from this series.
Why was the word fucking so prominently
I know,
pronounced?
that was so enunciated. It's probably because the people who use the TTS probably use that word a lot, so it's like got the pronunciation really, really good. The real trial today hasn't begun yet.
What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. Gee. What? And we're gonna expose him, no matter what it takes.
I still don't have the why.
This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end.
So I still don't understand why.
Why?
Why is the question.
You need to read that book.
Yeah.
It's book time. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye after I've bitch slapped some people for being too noisy.
Hold that thought, Judge. I just gotta do some revision.
Yeah, rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. We did know that already.
Yes. She wants us to remember it. Because for a brief moment I was like, I'm gonna reopen this book immediately in case she's written something in the book as like a sneaky message.
Okay.
Of like, I'm not allowed to talk to you because somebody's watching, so I'm going to hide a message in this book. Nope, it's legitimately just the book. Huh.
So we always need permission from the police department.
And it has to be relevant.
It has to be relevant.
This hasn't come up yet. What is it, and why is Emma's print on it? This hasn't come up yet.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honour?
The inquiry committee is planning to impose a harsh penalty for your actions.
He fucking bows! Thank you for the news, Your Honour.
Yes, well,
Well, at least he's humble in defeat.
thank you, Das. Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have,
Struck a bargain? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses?
I didn't say that.
But you were thinking it.
Just, you see, everyone's been talking and...
Very well, Your Honour. I have a solution.
A solution?
That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth and further witnesses.
What? There's no precedent for what you're proposing.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, and a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal.
Again, Edgeworth kind of is on our side for this. As weird as that is.
Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness.
Mr. Wright? You realise this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Thanks for the hype train, everybody! Enjoy your emotes! This like little guy got a bat? A little baseball bat? Batter up, it is!
The defense calls.
Oh, lives are refreshed. Oh.
Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer.
Yeah, do we just call out Gant right away? Because I don't think we're gonna get anything useful out of anybody else. Gant's the only person we haven't questioned, basically. Do you think he's the murderer? If so, then yeah. I mean, yeah, I do, so... Yeah.
Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it.
As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand.
I imagine he should still be here, as if he would be anywhere else. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Your name and occupation, sir?
Worthy, are you sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name's Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant. Court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, right-ho! What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
What?
Weapons?
The arrogance, right?
Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify.
What? Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony.
So he literally does think he's above the law because he kind of is.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there.
What's the name of that clip, Voz? Excuse me.
Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, they had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious.
Yikes. Still grim to see it.
When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut.
Yeah, it's like you just blackmailed Lana and held it over her head, yeah.
If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast.
Is that the game's way of telling us that we shouldn't be pressing every statement now? Even though everything we've done up until this point has been that?
I mean, did you find a contradiction in what he said?
What outage didn't help? I mean, I'm curious what he means, like, we slipped up. Talk more on that? Maybe? Talk more on that.
So the two of you ran immediately after him, correct? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky.
Fuck, man. What's this about a power outage?
Oh, that! The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not fun.
Bruh! Went to my office, I found Lana. Okay. Speak more on that.
How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved.
So that means... found the body near Lana's desk.
That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armour that really stabbed the prosecutor.
That you still have!
Yes.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Feels like it does kind of feel like we do have to press everything. He is very heartless, Growlithe. It's just,
so you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down?
staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. Going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record.
Worthy, always the smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forger? Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. What evidence do we have that would tie him to it? I'm trying to think now.
See, a lot of this is to do with the Goodmans.
Yeah, we're not at that stage.
Which we're not at. Then we start to get into this.
Is it the tip of the knife in his heart? Because obviously we now know that he wasn't killed with that knife. So that means that.
Well, that doesn't really tie Gant though, does it? Because he'd probably just say, "Well, Lana did it."
Yeah.
Again, and I believe even though it looks like there's a smear on this, I believe there's not anything that's on this. Looks like
Well,
there's
it's got to be something from his locker then.
so it's the cloth. Video, Joe Dark killings, the autopsy report, heart and lung, knife tip was in the wound. This is the only piece of evidence that we kind of haven't used yet. But the only thing is, it's a piece of cloth that was in Gant's safe, so Gant had it. It's evidence for something, but what? Like, we
So it
don't,
doesn't really help. What
we
about
don't
the,
even know what it is. It's just
well,
a piece
the,
of cloth.
the piece of paper. We found the paper, didn't we? That was
Yes.
also in his. It's
Yeah.
like, well, why
Why
was
did
this-
you have it? I guess, but yeah, we don't even know what this is. I'm like, is it a piece? At first, I wondered if it was like something from Marshall's clothing because it looks like leather, but it says it's cloth, not leather, and there's nothing like on the other side. So I much like the game, don't know what it's meant to be. It's evidence for something. So is it this?
Because it still says half.
It
of
does
this
say
list
it
was
was found in his desk. Although again, is this another
Press
everything?
Try everything. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that.
Is the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room?
Don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it.
I already pressed on that.
Could you tell us what you saw?
What? Catched him.
Sadaf.
What?
It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together.
But apparently Lana had positioned them that way.
Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done.
Already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, forgery. Oh, we have pressed on everything.
Have we pressed on that?
Did we?
So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But oh yeah, we
Yeah.
have already done this one, haven't we?
Yeah, we have done this one. So yeah, so we have pressed everything. So we do have to find a contradiction to point out.
Oh,
Hmm?
where did we find the blood in the office?
We did find it at Lana's desk.
It was on Lana's
It was
side.
on Lana's side.
Doesn't that seem weird? Why
yeah.
wasn't it beneath the armor?
Yeah, that is weird.
Unless the armor had been moved, but it wouldn't have been on her side of the office because it was always her side of the office. So why was the blood there?
Somehow we've got to that's what I said. The line is we've got to link Gant to the thing.
So we've got to go to the one where it's the forgery of the evidence. See, the only thing we've got for forged evidence was the knife, because it was the tip of the blade that was inside it. But I don't know how that links to Gant.
Yeah.
That's just evidence that was the forgery.
Went to my office. I found Lana there. And she had already arranged the crime scene.
As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery, so this is the one that we need to present on.
Probably, yeah. 'Cause this is the line that we got the extra.
Evidence list is what I'm thinking, because that was specifically like something that he had.
Yeah, because it specifically says that he had it. Although we do have that the fragment of this was in his safe as well.
So probably both, maybe.
Yeah.
That was found in his. I mean,
That was found in his desk.
the
but,
safe
but,
is probably more.
I said because the drawing Emma said was drawn like 3 days later. So it's a little less suspicious that he had that because he's the chief of police. He could have had it 3 days later. That's bad. Whereas this was very much like at the scene of the crime and was broken. I guess that's another question that we can ask of how did this get broken? And why did you have a piece of it? Because this is still too obscure of like
This is the handprint.
the handprint on this handprint that was on the Marshall's locker. It's Marshall's handprint. That was on the locker. Thin rubber glove. So is it the jar? The jar. It's between the evidence list and the jar, and I feel like the jar is more likely.
Because it was a piece of evidence
Because it was
that
at
was
the-
specifically
because it
should have
was-
been in Goodman's.
Yeah, and it was at the scene of the crime. This wasn't at the scene of the crime because it was drawn after the fact. So because the game wants us to prove that Gant was there.
Yeah. Try that.
So
then.
the only way he could have had this is if it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badge you showed us earlier.
It's just a jar.
A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe.
Speechless.
Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk.
Oh,
It was
it's
found
both.
where?
It's both.
You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Huh. Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? This is where I remember this bit.
Oh, no, don't you fucking dare.
I remember this bit. Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence.
Shit.
Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto?
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment.
No.
He's about to be cut off. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, I should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know.
I'm in danger.
All right, OG. In return, though. I know. That place, right?
Huh?
What are these guys, telepathic?
What? Do you want to clue us in on that conversation there?
Are you going for them, Blue? Where's the lie in this one? This one's a bit more obvious.
Sheesh.
I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and
What?
Mr. Wright, what are you saying?
Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later.
Later? What are you talking about?
What else? Talking about when Raito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found in a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Raito. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? Would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed on the evidence list. For all I know, for all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced.
Huh?
Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient?
That's why he wears gloves, so he doesn't leave prints. Yeah. I'd noticed that a while ago. I was like, how convenient that you always have gloves on. Black gloves as well. Right. Chief is talking about a possibility. As long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Tell me something I don't know. Come on, Raito. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that?
Oh, very easily.
Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil?
I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye.
Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gamp? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh?
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in and of itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one.
Huh?
Huh? What?
Huh?
You really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway.
Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at.
So that means There's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that.
The silence was very poignant there.
There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. It's out in the open now. Audrey, would you mind if I change my testimony a little?
By all means, please do.
What?
I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me.
That's what you're adding at the end?
Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? You think I felt sorry for her? You'd better think again.
Wow, you cold bastard! Alright, you don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. That's the Catholic way.
Wow! You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Ha ha ha! Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out?
Yeah.
True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright? It appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I meant.
No.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence?
Lana.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky? The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances.
Silence is very powerful when it comes from this man.
Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And, as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Yes, because Lana got promoted. And she'd do anything to keep her sister safe.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SR9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
How would he profit from all of this?
He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority. He would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
You mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
I want to hit this man so bad. The silence!
Oh wait! You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief!
Oh.
You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Right-ho, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something.
What?
You have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana... No, of course she hasn't. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma.
Oh, because she's being blackmailed!
There's no way she'd testify against Gant.
I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture.
Unless... That is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Oh my god, keep up, you're the judge! Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone's been controlling her.
Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. Wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Bruh! Be threatening people!
What do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What?! Ooh. My voice is already gone.
Yeah, you just threw your voice out there, didn't you?
Order cubed!
Spoo just threw his voice
That's a
out.
sound alert.
Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Drink water, everybody.
Huh? What? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's I thought he was going to say that's illegal. That's impossible.
It's inconceivable!
I believe at that point it's just called corruption.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language.
Oh,
GLaDOS, enough of this, spook. Swift death to those who have wronged me, this son of a bitch, like a good lad.
I want a swift death of this guy so bad.
I'm gonna twang him.
That'll be 84 points of damage.
No, I don't remember.
Oh god, those clicks the wasps. You got a sound alert, Blue.
Yeah, coming to an edit near you. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Yeah, we got a massive target painted on our forehead if we exit this room and Gant isn't behind bars.
Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright?
I better.
That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question.
Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. Question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. You disappoint me, Hope. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
It's a Goodman's murder.
I feel like it's the list of numbers that went in.
It's the ID number.
Because he's the last one who entered. No, he's not the last one who entered.
No, he was the first one to enter. I don't know if that necessarily...
Maybe not.
Yeah, so he's the chief of police, he's allowed to go in the evidence room. I
Yeah.
don't know if that necessarily ties him into it.
Is it the screwdriver?
Evidence from a past case brought to his office by Gant's request. I mean, that's from a different case.
No, it's not.
It
No,
says
I mean, related to this one because he was in Edgeworth's car. Because the story that we've said is that Detective Goodman was killed at the police office, put into Edgeworth's car,
Yeah.
and then it was like, well, how do we get Edgeworth to take it? Oh, could you bring me this piece of evidence? It's completely unrelated. Why did you need it? It's something.
It is something, yeah, that is the reason why.
I've just noticed something from that missing report, missing item thingy.
Yeah. Can only be submitted to the chief of police. I noticed that as well.
So he went to say, I've lost my card, and he was like, oh, I'll take you with me. Go to the room together.
Hmm.
Hence why he went in there. Welcome back.
Was it confirmed that this is in Bruce Goodman's handwriting?
I believe so, yeah.
I feel like that's some,
don't think I would have a
I
dispute.
vaguely recall that. He did write this. I just wasn't So Edgeworth wasn't allowed to call a witness in case of manipulating them, so Phoenix called Gant to be accused of blackmailing Lana because he helped her hide evidence. He's denying it, and...
That's for
Oh, right, sorry.
one specifically for you. You know what's happened. You've been, well, you should do. You've been.
What ties him to Goodman's case? Not to the other one, to Goodman's case. No evidence can be shown without approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case. Maybe it is the screwdriver? I don't know. Look at the IDs. Because Lana literally brought that up in the before the trial, didn't she? Of like, you've guessed whose ID number this is then. So is it the IDs? It's spurious at best.
No, it is the screwdriver. No, wait. Sorry, I thought the screwdriver was hidden in the muffler in the exhaust. It was the knife.
No, it was the knife that was hidden.
It was the
in
other
there.
knife, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's Goodman's ID. Abbott was removed from this at Gant's behest, but that's not to do with this case. That's to do with the other case. So, which of these bits of evidence ties him to Goodman? One knife wound, loss of blood. I feel like it's between these two. I feel like it's between the IDs and the screwdriver. I feel like maybe it's the ID, just because I'm trying to think, like, if you say, oh...
There could be any reason.
Yeah, it would be like, you know, it's labelled for a completely different case. He was like, am I not allowed to... You know, it's part of my job to give people these things. It's just... Whereas this is more an actual, oh, well, you were in this room on the day of the murder.
Or
Yes. Just checking the time. Died within an hour and a half. Minutes later.
give it a go.
Yeah, it's
Which is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. All sevens. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my ID card. It's your number.
Wait. Damn, this trial really does make you scratch your head.
It's a good one, isn't it? What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was all 7s. Same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant! You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime!
Oh, he's pissed! Look at that face! Yo! Ooh, he's angry!
Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was a violation of regulations.
and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Look at that twitch.
Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room? On the day of the crime?
What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want.
Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone?
I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room.
Distraction tactics.
Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean? The trial's purposes determines Lana Sky's guilt.
No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting?
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went with me to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. That lost ID thing.
A lost item. And only be submitted to the Chief of Police.
Yeah.
Take that!
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime.
Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it.
So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you're in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day.
He needed to?
Yes, to transfer the evidence out.
Oh yes, that was going on.
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room.
This is getting spicy.
Morning? It's nearly night time.
Hello.
It's night time.
Tweem.
Night time. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Hey, you said it, not me.
You said it.
Exactly.
But wait! The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card.
Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done just that.
Objection from Edgeworth. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to the Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body.
Ooh, good point.
No!
Oh, Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
That was a picture, wasn't it?
Yeah, what the hell happened there?
Chief Gant, you didn't.
Ooh, serious music.
A murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did he manage to move it there?
I was at the police department the entire day, you know.
Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony.
Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space.
Probably what the player was thinking. Why is this still in my inventory?
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence immediately.
To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this screwdriver.
Just puppeting another person.
This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body.
With a screwdriver? What does that have to do with this case?
Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here?
It's here because... Ah!
He had a dead body in his boot.
And he didn't
and
know.
he didn't know about it.
He was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here at the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office.
But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to.
You mean I...
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car.
Oh.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Ms. Lana Skye.
What?
What is going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal?
Astounding. I think that clip. I think that one's a bit late.
What? Good sound. Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite.
It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something. I believe... your time's up.
What?
My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special.
What? You can't just leave!
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier. Police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
So you're going to just run away after all this?
Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show me your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of the body.
Do I have any concrete proof?
Is it this? Is that why it was broken? Because it would have been in his evidence locker. and we found it, and it was at the scene of the crime because Gumshoe was messing with it and was trying to
I
put
don't
it
know if
out.
that's what he wants is concrete proof that he stabbed Goodman.
Mhm.
There's only circumstantial evidence for that. We've got no fingerprints, no blood trail, no eyewitnesses, no nothing. So I think the answer to that is no. I think this is one of those cases where we do have to say no, we don't have any concrete proof.
Hmm.
Think of all the times when the game tells us that it wants us to keep pressing and saying yes. I think this is where you say, nope, got no concrete proof.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, Hope's saying the same.
Yeah, I'm saying. I can't see anything that directly ties Damon. There's a lot of circumstantial stuff,
Yeah,
and we
but
can build the story in our
we can.
heads.
Yeah,
but
we can build it in our heads because if anything, we're like, clearly it's you. There's a lot of stuff pointing to it being
The
you.
badge!
The
Paul
badge.
says your badge!
The badge.
He did it because I fucking said he did it!
That's what this entire thing has been, though. You did it because I said you did. It's like there's nothing. We didn't say anywhere in the previous section that this got broken during the SL9 incident. So I'm wondering if this got broken because it got used to hit Goodman. I don't know. It's not. Again, that's just me wondering. There's no evidence.
No.
No evidence there.
Let's go with no. The game will correct us otherwise.
I still don't know what this even is. It's just a piece of cloth that has her handprint on it. Why? No proof yet.
It's no use!
It's no use!
Showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See you, G. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Oggy, I'll leave the rest to you.
He fucking walks away. Uh-oh.
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to to a senior officer of our nation's law enforcement agency. Oh, what was the wrong answer? Oh,
Nope.
no. It psyched
The
us.
game psyched us by putting the bar in the top corner. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony.
A lady who knows the truth. Another witness?
In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method is proof of testimony.
But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify.
There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person?
Are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? Defense is the one calling the witnesses today.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth. We can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth...
Lana.
The defendant? Ms. Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth.
Prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well. Court will now take its final recess for the day. 15 minutes, we'll reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in...
Hold on!
Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant,
I thought you were going to eat.
Fuck, he walks quietly.
Listen, good Lana. Talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences.
That is an open threat in front of a court.
That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder.
What?
This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such an outrageous claim anyway, right? Just something to think about. All right then. I've got a lunch date to meet.
Okay. If there aren't any further objections.
What?
This court is now in recess.
What? Looks like we managed to stay in the game.
Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pal?
Detective Gumshoe?
I'm not a detective anymore.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. It's your office!
My office?
Sure! I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
What a dynamic duo they'd be. What do you mean, Maya?
Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is he always gets the upper hand?
It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify.
Yeah. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said?
But Chief, it's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Risks? What do you mean by that?
It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true.
I think this is Lana.
You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh, it's Emma.
Emma. Emma, are you okay?
Thank God you're still alive! Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on? Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. No, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. And perhaps it was easier that way for her.
What do you mean?
You think I mean to follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. Force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to.
That must be why she became so cold.
It's all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now, pal. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Down with the system.
Wow, it turns out that he was an anarchist all this time. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see.
Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait here?
No, I'm gonna go with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right? It's time to end this. Time to end the stream.
Yeah, and that is definitely where I have to end it.
Yeah, because Spittle has to go to bed at a decent time, just not as early as he used to.
Yeah. So we will finish this next Tuesday.
Yes. So tune in next week for apparently wherever this is going.
The end.
He'll be back.
Chief Gant.
He's gonna come charging in, and we're gonna be, you said you didn't want to talk, so you're not allowed to talk.
Yeah, last fight next week, and depending on what time we finish it, we're going to be doing Chants of Sonar.
It depends how long's left.
Yeah, depends on how long. I can't remember how long the very last bit is, but
Who's to say? Because we got.
I know we're at the end.
Yeah, so we got to convince Lana to tell the truth,
Make a squeal.
and then I imagine Gant is going to come barging in to try and stop her from doing that, and that's when we're going to be like, no, you said you weren't going to talk. Bah.
Bye, everybody.
Rip, spooks off. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. It's been great. Having a grand old time. And I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm going to be working on the highlights reel some more. Hopefully we can get that finished tomorrow. Yeah. So take care, everyone. And I'll see you then.